Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hear the whole song, the whole album at Megadeth.com. Megadeth.com. Or just Google Megadeth, the term Endgame. Get it at iTunes. Get the CD. Get it all at Megadeth.com. We need to support this type of message. Megadeth is up there at the very top of heavy metal, ladies and gentlemen. And these folks have packed stadiums across the planet. We need this anti-New World Order message now more than ever to warn people. Whatever's going to happen with the New World Order, whatever this global system's going to do, we have to stand and resist it. And the clergy response teams have been hired by the feds to tell their flocks to not stand up and not resist. They're going to be raptured out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is unbelievable. Dave Mustaine, I tell you, every time I hear that song since it came out last week, it just blows me away, and the lyrics just get even more hard-hitting. The RFID, the New World Order, the president. And then we played in the first hour audio of armored vehicles with sound cannons saying almost the same thing you've got in that intro. I mean, talk about unbelievable.
Well, I'm a real American.
Hell yeah, you are. And let me tell you, tens of millions of Megadeth fans worldwide are now going to finally understand. They're always, why does he have the UN on the cover of his, I mean, you say my film Endgame influenced your album Endgame. This cover that I designed, I told the graphics person what to make, was influenced by a Megadeth cover. Did you notice that when you saw the Endgame DVD cover, that it was similar to that one where you have the UN and the flagless flagpoles?
You know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. I never saw the correlation. That's amazing.
But it's just crazy that you influence me and I'm influencing you.
Well, that's what I believe. Good ideas when people share stuff like that. That it's a grassroots kind of thing, and people, they benefit from it in a huge way when they share the truth, because the truth is undeniable.
In fact, that was from Peace Sells. Peace sells, but who's buying?
Yep.
That's awesome.
That was actually something that I saw. I got that song title from a Reader's Digest magazine. I was living with this girl, and she went to work, and I was a lazy musician, so I stayed back at her place, and there was a Reader's Digest there. That's why I make fun of the magazine and the song Sweating Bullets, why I say nice story, tell it to Reader's Digest. Well, yeah, because I actually read that magazine for a little while after I got the title for Peace Sells out of it. Interesting little book, but not something that's really modern anymore, I guess.
What did you think of my film Endgame itself, specifically?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, you're very brave to go and get in the face of people like this. I guess we all have our calling.
Dave, we're about to break in a minute-long segment coming up. In fact, we'll probably pull up Peace Sells and play some of that, but some of the new album as well. How do folks, what's the best way, where's the best place to get your new album Endgame and to support what you're doing?
Well, I would say through Amazon or through iTunes. You know, you can listen to the music in many places right now. MySpace and iTunes really supported us. AOLmusic.com has supported us, too, with this record. And Amazon, it's the #1 record at Amazon right now, and it's been that way for quite a few days. And,
#1.
Yep.
Endgame was #1 for a few days on DVD, my film. But I tell you, that is incredible. Dave, we're going to break again. I want to come back and talk more about the album. I should have mentioned that. Endgame from Megadeth, #1 in the USA. #1, and they're going on tour. We'll tell you about that. We'll talk more about the New World Order as well with Dave Mustaine, the founder, guitarist, and lead singer of...
We're on the...
So that's Dialectic Chaos from Endgame.
That sounds like old school, but with somewhat of a new edge to it. That sounds like old school heavy metal, speed metal almost.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stick with our roots and do what we know is what we do best. There was a period during the beginning of the millennium where bands were really forced to go and change themselves, not only change their image, change the way that they look and stuff like that, but also change the way that they make their living, their music. You know, it had to all get, everybody needed to be like Nirvana, you know, and I'm sorry, that was not my cup of tea. So, you know, we struggled through a lot of stuff, and right now it's probably the most liberated that we've been with our careers and our music.
So keeping it pure, you got a new book coming out. Tell us about that.
Right, it's called Hello Me, Meet the Real Me, which is a lyric from Sweating Bullets. It had to be called that, you know that. And it's basically me, the person. It's not just me, a musician, because, you know, they've written everything that can be written about me as a musician from their point of view. And, you know, some of it's true, some of it's not, some of it's folklore, some of it makes me a lot cooler than I really am, so I just let them continue to think that way. But with the book itself, when I got to the last page and I closed the book, I looked up. I actually was so I was so satiated. I was so content that they finally have got my life into a book so far, and that I read it and I went, you know what? I get it. This is it. This is it. This is who I am. It explained everything perfectly. And the best part about it, I think, at the end of every chapter, it's like, God, you know, he did a lot of really rotten things, but at the end of every chapter, it tells how, you know, all those things have been made amends for, if it's possible, and the people that we had all these hardships with, we've gone back and worked on things. You know, some people were in the band that I'm friends with still. Some people were in the band in the past, and I'm not friends with them.
Well, I tell you, I'm excited to read the new book when it comes out. Tell us about your new radio show you're launching. You're really going wild here.
Well, you know, I mean, you've got a great platform here for you to be able to share your heart with the American people and to educate them, which is, I think, one of the highest honors in our country here, is to be able to teach our children, the teachers that were there. And everybody's always asked me, what would I do if I wasn't a musician? I'd like to be a teacher. I mean, I know the pay is crap, and I know that you don't get any respect, but you know, I love teaching kids. I used to teach martial art at this one school in Scottsdale to kids, because the other teachers there weren't really good with the kids, and I loved it. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing, and watching the way that the whole music industry is kind of eaten itself and changed it, you know, with the whole digital download thing now. You've got to be really clever. So I really try my very best right now to participate with our fans as much as possible and listen to what they're talking about, what affects them. You know, it's hard for me to really know what it's like to have food stamps now, but you know what? I did. I lived in a car when I was a teenager, and I was homeless. My mom was a maid, so I know all of these things that you have to go through to get by in life. And I think that's one of the things that most rock stars, they try and forget.
Well, I agree. I see people's arrogance and their haughtiness, and I've been arrogant in my life at certain points, but I kind of flash back and forth. But I realize you get so much more strength and discernment when you are humble and realize how transitory this life is.
Right. And, you know, the best thing about it at the end of the day is you feel good about yourself when you've done something cool for somebody else, even if it's just enlightening them and educating them. You know, right now my son's almost 18, so we're going through a lot of life lessons right now. And yeah, he's making a lot of really costly mistakes, but nothing is, he hasn't been dismembered or disfigured yet, so everything's okay. But, you know, I see this and I'm thinking, like, God, I want to interrupt and I want to rescue him and I want to. But that's why most of the kids in America right now are having so many problems, because all this false praise these kids are getting. You know what? Little Johnny ain't perfect. You know,
well, I mean,
he's such a great kid.
Well, the establishment, the controllers know that. They tell us we've got to be perfect. Madison Avenue tells us we've got to be perfect. So we all feel inadequate. So we've got to buy this death culture the New World Order is selling. And so, oh, yeah, your kid got in a fight. Oh, your kid's depressed because they're going into puberty. Oh, they need a bunch of mind-altering government-issued drugs.
Yeah. Yep. That, or isolate them, or single them out in front of everybody.
Or give them electroshock therapy. Now, you were telling me during a break, I don't know if you want to say this on air, but you're going on tour, and you were telling me there's some disinfo going on out there about the tour.